Nate Hanet, how are you, buddy?
I'm good, dude. I'm good. How you doing, Camberg?
Good to see you, man. I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, I'm
Appreciate
good.
it, dude. Well, thank you for having me, man.
You're very welcome. So you've just driven in from
From Lancaster, Massachusetts, dude. I'm about
Damn.
45 minutes from Boston, and I've been doing shows between Worcester, Massachusetts, and Boston. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I've been getting some spots in Connecticut. I did a show in D.C. a few months ago, and I still come out to New York when I can, but mostly been doing the New England scene.
because I thought you were moving here. Was that not the plan? The original plan?
That was the plan, and
That's
then,
where obviously I met Nate at a mic at I think it was Eastville, wasn't it?
No,
Down
dude,
at
no.
Brooklyn.
It was. I'll never forget. It was Grizzly Pear Midtown, and there was 5 of us there, and I had just come back from doing a ton of mushrooms, dude.
Right.
So I was like at the very tail end of this mushroom trip, and we all went up, and we all did. I mean, it was 5 of us. It was like a 7-minute mic, dude, and we all killed. We all did real good, dude. But I was laughing my ass off, dude, because I was just, the mushrooms still kind of kicking, dude. So we had a good time, you know. Yeah, it was fun. You know?
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and then I think I saw you at Eastville another time.
Getcha.
Yeah, that's what it was, dude. Yeah, that's right. Dude.
Cool, man. So you didn't end up moving here.
No, I was gonna move here. I got a buddy who lives here, a good buddy of mine from elementary school. I was actually I say I'm from Louisiana. I was actually born in northern New Jersey.
Gotcha.
So I lived in New Jersey for like first 10 years of my life.
Okay.
And I got a real good friend from elementary school, who I'm still real tight with. He lives in Astoria. He's an actor, and he bisexual. I think he just offense to him. I think he's just gay, dude. I don't know. I never seen him with a lady, dude. I've never seen. He says he likes him, dude, but I never seen him with one. So whatever, dude. But anyway, he's gonna hate that. But anyway, that don't matter to me. I love him anyway. But he's married to this beautiful little Filipina fella. Or they're dating. I'm sorry, they're dating this beautiful little Filipina fella.
Yeah.
And they live in Astoria, Queens. They let me stay with them for a while I was trying to get on my feet out here because I'd quit. I was a lawyer in Louisiana. You know, I was a criminal defense attorney for like 5 years in Louisiana, and I kind of had stopped doing the law to like come up here and do comedy and stuff. And now I still do immigration work like during the day remotely, you know, but it's more like sales than the law, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, at the time I was kind of looking for like a day job, looking for something to do out here. And then I got this cousin up in Massachusetts from Louisiana. And she was dating this guy. They ended up breaking up. Well, she's got a 7-year-old son who I love like a son. When he was born, she was actually living with my parents when I was in law school. His father had passed away from a heroin overdose before he was born. Yeah, when she was 4 months pregnant. So I raised him up for like his first like year, you know, and I love him like my own. So when she was like, I kind of need some help, I was like, well, Boston got a good scene. I'll just come hang out there, see what it's like, and I just love it, dude. The scene's good.
Cool.
And I'm enjoying it a lot.
Tell me about it. I know nothing about Boston.
Dude, so the first thing is because I ain't know nothing either. Okay, I've traveled around, you know, like but like mostly in the southeast United States and then in Europe actually. You know, with my dad being Belgian, we've been all over the place, but. You know, when we lived up here, we didn't really travel around that much. You know, we would go to New York. That was it. You know, so Boston is like, it's a lot smaller than you think it would be. It's beautiful, real cool city. You know, old as a motherfucker, dude. So fucking old, dude. Good God, it's so old. There's like ancient stuff everywhere. Everybody related to George Washington or some shit. And all the Italians you got here, dude, you trade them out for Irish people. That's all it is, dude. All these Italians here, dude, you just trade them out for the Irish, dude. And they're just running around just, you know, they're fucking everywhere, dude. It's crazy. I've never seen so many Irish people and Brazilians. I don't know why there's so many Brazilians in New England, dude. And that don't make no sense because it's very cold. It's very, very cold, dude. And they're not like accustomed to that at all. It doesn't make any sense to me, dude. But they made their way up, and we got people speaking Portuguese and damn, whatever, Gaelic all over the place. It's nuts.
That surprised me because Boston, it's not coastal, is it? It's inland?
No, Boston's on the coast.
Oh, it is? Okay,
Boston's right on the coast. You know, Worcester, where I'm closer to, that's more inland, you know. Boston's right on the coastline. It's like it's like,
Keep talking. I'm gonna have a look on my map.
It might be, this might be wrong, but it's like one of the first, like, big colonial cities in America, you know,
Gotcha.
like a bunch of patriotic stuff. Philadelphia, Boston, places like that.
What's the university that's there?
Harvard.
Harvard.
Harvard, dude. Yeah, and everybody talk like that too. Everybody talk like JFK, dude. It's so crazy. Everybody
Really?
run around and going, where we going today? You know, fucking, what the hell, dude? They all talk like that, like totally unironically. It's crazy, you know.
What's the population?
It's big. I don't fucking know, dude. I'm
always interested in that.
Brightest, whatever,
mate,
bulb in the dog pound, you know what I mean?
I need a Jamie here so we can
Yeah, dude, I know. I'd say, yeah, where's the young Jamie, dude?
Where is young Jamie?
Look at this, dude. I love being here because when I live in Louisiana, dude, you can, like in New Orleans, you can walk around with a beer anywhere, you know? So it like trips me out when I'm in New York, like a big city like this, and I go to like, and they're like, do you want a bag for that? And I'm like, well, dude, I guess I'll be a bum. Sure, yeah, I'll be a bum. Yeah, why not? Yeah.
653,000 is the population of Boston. So
Really?
it's a pretty small city.
For Boston proper, probably. And then if you get like Somerville, Cambridge is where Harvard is. There's a big comedy club there, the Comedy Studio. They do like a...
Pass me that bag.
Yeah, cool.
It's going to annoy me. Keep
Yeah,
going.
yeah. Don't worry, dude. I'm saying not a trash man. I like that, dude. This man keeps it clean. Like a clean studio. It's good. Yeah, dude, it's... No, I mean, it's cool. It's... a lot of college kids, you know, in the Harvard, Cambridge area, you know. I mostly end up staying around... Like the shows that I do are in South Boston, which is like they call it Southie, you know. And I think that's where like a lot of them Irish gangs are from. I think I'm not positive about any of this. Dude. And because I practice the law, I know you're supposed to give a caveat. Dude. I'm not fucking dumb, you know. So, but you know, so I'm not totally sure, but I think they're from around there, or maybe like Somerville, which was Somerville pretty cool. It's kind of like being in like, you know, like Astoria or like somewhere in Brooklyn or some shit like that, you know.
And so in Australia, the open mic, if you do an open mic, it's in front of a live audience. Is that the same with Boston?
It's
or is it in front
of
comics?
It's a little bit more that way. There's some mics that are like here where it's just like, you know, you're only in front of comics. There's some mics where you go, and those are usually in the more, it's not rural areas, but more like they're away from the city center. You know, those you'll see people, especially in Worcester, you see people fucking at mics all the time. You're like, what the hell are you people doing here? You know what's about to happen? You know that we're about to this is gonna be awful. You know we're gonna hate this. You know what I'm saying? God, you know, dude, actually just a few weeks ago, we had a show. We had a mic. We always do on Sundays at Husky's Pub. I'm doing a show there at June 27th, Worcester, Husky's Pub. There you go. So we were doing a mic there, dude, and I get there, and there's like all these fucking musicians there, and apparently the bar was like, hey, they called us and was like, you know, we need a spot to do our open mic, you know, so we were like, y'all can split it with the comedians. And we were like, all right, word. It was like all these death metal people, you know. I don't know shit about that, okay? But they all like just, you know, again, I don't know nothing about nothing. They were all freaks, dude. They were all freaks. Every single one of them was freak, dude. Every single one. There was a dude there with no fucking shoes on, dude. So I got up there, dude, and I couldn't help myself, dude. I just started, it's a mic, you know, it's not a show. I'm gonna roast this fucking crowd, dude. I was like, what the hell is wrong with you? You lose them motherfuckers? Why are you here without no damn shit? You know,
he's earthing, bro.
Exactly, dude. And they were just, and I remember they thought I was so, and I'm not like a mean guy. These people thought I was the meanest human being on this planet, dude. They're just sensitive metalheads, dude. God, you know, I thought they had a little more grit to them.
It's because they're letting out all that rage for a reason,
I guess
you know?
That's true, you know. They say they did have a lot of like strange hate in their hearts. A lot of them started yelling in the microphone. I don't know what the point of that is. You know? What?
I don't get it.
Me neither, dude.
It's never been,
I knew some dudes in high school that sang in a band like that. It was called City by the Sea or City in the Sea, dude. And they like, it was actually a pretty popular band. I didn't understand a lick of it, dude. I do not get it, dude. They just get up there, they play the guitar real loud, and then somebody goes, and you're like, what is happening, dude? And then you go to the concert, and they're pushing each other and fighting, dude.
Yeah.
I don't want none of that. And they don't like, not real fist fighting. Like, dude, somebody push you like that, they're liable to be, you know what I mean? Something bad could happen, you know what I mean? They're just in there kicking and swinging, and they're all fucking weird and fat and nuts, dude. It's crazy. Half of them are gay, which is nothing wrong with that, dude. But they're just, it's a lot, you know, and you're out there and some dude in a black dress fucking sock you across the dome in the middle of a fucking Screamo song, dude. You're not going to be happy, okay? Yeah, dude, that's how it goes, man. That's how it goes. So, yeah, the Boston scene, you know, you get more like, kind of like Australia, I would think, more like people at mics and shit, you know? And then the shows are really good. The crowds at shows are really good, you know. So that's also been nice too. The crowds are great, man. You know, they seem to just really like comedy, you know. And then with like the Southern thing, you know, everybody fucking eats that shit up. And I don't even like. I'm like, dog. I mean, you know, my mother is from South Louisiana, like deep South Louisiana. You know, we lived there for like 10 years, but I would split my summers between Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and in Belgium, you know. So I know it real well, and like we always grew up like Think about like
Belgium's not a big country.
No, dude,
Belgium's
it's a tiny place.
It's only a tiny little.
There's like 9 million people. It's like this big.
Yeah.
You drive across in 3 hours. But
Yeah.
I fucking love it, dude. I know Ghent, Belgium, like the back of my hand.
How did that even come about? Your parents?
My dad, so my mom was going to LSU, Louisiana State University for music because she's just like a girl from Baton Rouge, and that's what you do, you know. That's what, she was like, her mom was like, "You gonna play the piano for money," you know. So she was doing that, and my dad went to, he was trying to get his MBA, and he wanted to come to America. He'd always really liked America. My grandparents, like during World War II, they were kids. So like when the Germans came in. Belgium fought. They resisted very hard. Not like the French, dude. We fought 3 days, but we fought. Dude,
Yeah.
And when it got taken over, it like really affected my grandparents. Like I know my grandmother, they tried to send her to the free zone with her sisters. They both came from real big families. And when they were headed to the free zone in the south of France, the Nazis started bombing the road they were on. They stopped them and they sent them back to Belgium. So my grandmother and her sisters had to go live in an abbey with nuns for the duration of the war.
Whoa.
So she was in the abbey, and my grandfather, his parents had a textile company, and they lived in this big house in the country. And when the Nazis came in, they took the house over and made it into a base. And they took the family and they made them live in the attic. So my grandfather, him and his brother were like go steal like walkie-talkies and fucking Nazi helmets and shit. We have all this weird Nazi propaganda shit in our fucking life.
Oh, you do?
Oh yeah,
that's cool.
It is. It's interesting, dude.
Yeah.
It is, but it's from him stealing it from when he was like 10.
Cool.
Yeah, and then so when the Americans came in, they kicked the Nazis out, and they were like, "Well, it's already set up. Y'all want to just stay?" And they're like, "Yeah, but you can go back to your bedrooms and shit like that. Y'all can have your kitchen." You know, so. He always really, and then the Americans like gave him helmets and gave him stuff. So we also had American stuff too.
Wow.
Yeah. So my grandparents had like a high opinion of the United States, and my dad he said he'd always wanted to go there. So he was looking for a way. He got accepted to Louisiana State just for just whatever reason, and he was like, "All right, well I'll go there." And he met my mom at a house party, and then the next day he ran over her foot with a bicycle looking for a swimming pool. And and she was with her she was with her boyfriend at the time, and she said that she just really liked that lovely little French fella, and she just followed him to the swimming pool, and that was it. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
And then they didn't stay together?
No, my parents are together. My parents have been together for almost 40 years. And
oh, true. Okay, so when you go back to Belgium, you're going as a family.
Yeah, we go as a family. Yeah,
gotcha.
We settled in the United States. My parents decided we were either going to stay in Belgium or the United States, and my parents decided to stay in the United States. My dad took a job at Chase in Friday over here.
Cool.
And, so that's why we live in New Jersey. So my dad was working in Manhattan for a long time, and then he started working in Newark, and then he was transferred to Phoenix, Arizona, and we lived in Arizona for a while.
Good. Yeah. There we go.
Yeah, dude, I've bounced around a lot, man.
Yeah.
I've moved a lot. I've been a lot of places, done a lot of weird stuff, and then all that in the background. Then, imagine like being like somebody who's from like being somebody from Algeria who lives in France, but was born in France, but your parents are Algerian. So like that's what we were like with both Belgium and Louisiana. So everybody'd be like, y'all are from Louisiana, and be like, but I was born in New Jersey, I think. And they'd be like, yeah, but you eat fucking red beans on Monday and do Mardi Gras and weird shit like that, dude. Y'all are there. So it was like, all right, well, I guess we're from Louisiana and Belgium. That's what it is, So
cool.
Yeah, that's the way it went, man. Yeah.
So what was it like having you've mentioned a few times that you used to do some hunting and stuff. Was that with your father?
No, it was with my uncle, my mom's mom's brother.
Side?
Yeah, my godfather. Yeah, my Uncle Ray.
Where would you go hunting?
Oh, in Louisiana. Yeah, in Louisiana.
What are you hunting?
Oh, dude, fucking most people hunt deer. A lot of people hunt ducks. I hunt ducks too, dude. Me and my uncle hunt fucking squirrels like a motherfucker, dude.
Really?
Okay, yeah, dude, with dogs. Okay, not like walking through the woods. Like it sounds weird, and it is. It's fucking crazy, dude.
Yeah, tell me about it.
It's crazy. But so you go and you get these little dogs, right?
What are the dogs? What are the species?
Either it's called a Feist dog or a cur dog.
Okay.
And they're old American breeds that have been like, they're like settlers breeds. There's dogs that were like mixed with, it's like hunt dogs and shepherd dogs and all kinds of different dogs. Like a settler needed one dog. He couldn't afford a pack of hounds and all these herding dogs and all this shit. He needed a dog who could guard, who could hunt, and who could herd. So that's where these cur dogs come from.
Mm-hmm.
We use them to hunt. So what we do is we take them in the woods with a tracking collar on them, and they kind of hunt like a coonhound would. They keep their head up, they're smelling the air, they find a squirrel, they find the scent, they run up and they put their paws on a tree and they start barking. And then me and my uncle, we check the tracking collar, go, all right, he's 150 yards away, he's 300 yards away, whatever it is, let's get to walking. We walk that way. He says, all right, boy, go shake a vine. And I go pull a vine real hard. Or if we got somebody younger than me, they go pull a vine real hard. And then game on. That little fucker jump out that tree and bang, 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 dude. Just turned into fireworks out there. Everybody got shotguns and we just light it up. Oh, yeah, dude, it's a good time, dude. It is a wild time, man. Everybody always says, like, you shot squirrels with shotguns? Yeah, dude, they move quick. You just shoot them with a 20. You're not going to catch one with one bullet, dude. You need a spread. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, dude, yeah, dude. But dude, there's been hunts where we killed fucking upwards of 90 squirrels in one hunt, dude.
Whoa.
Yeah, dude, with a couple dogs.
So aren't they full of bullets? Aren't they full of little lead pellets?
Yeah,
then?
usually. But if you catch them right, I mean, if you're good, dude, you nail them mostly in the head and shit. But like, you know, and the squirrels, you mostly eat like the back end of them. You mostly eat their legs. But to be honest, I mean, I'd eat them some, but I'd give them to my grandmother, dude. My grandmother from Louisiana fucking loved to eat squirrels, dude. And my mom would hate this, but I would deep fry them whole with the head still on. And my grandma would take a spoon and she'd smack that thing in the head, dude, and eat its brain. And go, tastes like a hickory nut. Yeah, yeah, dude, it's nuts. Yeah.
Well, the brain is quite a nice part of an animal. Like
I've never eaten it. Yeah.
When I went to Croatia, they did a whole lamb on the spit.
Yeah.
And I was with this Croatian guy, and he goes speaks his language to the bartenders, and they come out with the sheep's brain, sheep's head cracked open, the skull cracked open, and so it was like the skull was like a bowl with the brain exposed.
Interesting. Yeah.
And he had a spoon and a loaf of bread, and he was just spooning out on the bread, and he passed it to me, and I was like, oh, I don't know about this.
Yeah, try it, dog.
But I had it. It kind of tastes like pate.
I can say, yeah,
it's quite nice.
Yeah, like a pate kind of. Yeah, I can see that, dude. I went to Croatia once. Where'd you go in Croatia?
Went to Split.
Yeah,
and Split. I did the sail from Dubrovnik to Split.
Okay,
yeah.
I went to Split one time.
Split's
when I was
so beautiful.
So awesome, dude.
Oh my god, what a beautiful
so
city.
Hammered in Split, dude. I got so hammered on a booze cruise in Split, dude. I ate a fish whole, dude. I took that fish. They give you these fish on the booze cruise, dude. And they'll say chicken or fish. I was so hammered, dude. I was like, this is gonna be hilarious. Give me the fish. Give you this big old bass, dude. I ate it like a cat, dude. Like alley cat. It was like you know, fucking. The Croatians were fucking sideways. They were like, what is wrong with this dude? You know, God, you know. God, dude.
Oh, dude. Yeah, Split's beautiful. It's like going back in time, like a medieval city. Even the pavers on the streets are like these handmade
marbles and shit.
Yeah,
man.
just gorgeous.
Dude, I remember when we were in Split, I was living with it was like 5 of us in this apartment in Italy. And we all went to Split, and one of us one of us was a gay dude, loved him to death. And we're in Split, we're at a club, dude, and we look up, dude, and he is making out with a black dude that looks exactly like him, dude. His black doppelganger. It was crazy, dude. It was so insane. And then it turned out he was on the same study abroad program. When we went back to Italy, dude, his name was Blake, our roommate. We just kept seeing Black Blake everywhere we went, dude. It was crazy. We're like, dude, you gonna make out with him again? That's nuts, dude. You looked up. I mean, it was like mirror image, dude. It was like 2 actors going at it. You know, it was nuts. So yeah, that's what I remember from Split, dude. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, dude. It was a good time. So what brought you over here? That's I did want to ask you that. What brought you to the United States?
Comedy and my wife. Kind of the two things came together at the same time. I
like
met my wife.
Your wife.
Yeah.
I like that. My wife. I like that, dude. That's very cool. Yeah.
Yeah, we met like 5 years ago, and we just kept in touch and did a bit of a long distance thing. And then I tried comedy a few years ago, liked that, and then it looked like the relationship we sort of decided to bring the relationship together, and then I wanted to give comedy a go, and I thought, oh well, these two things came together, and I was like, let's go to New York.
Was she in New York?
Yeah, she lives here.
Okay, cool.
So she's been here for 19 years.
Oh shit.
She's Australian.
Oh no,
but she's
shit,
a citizen here.
Oh no shit. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Damn, nice.
So I got here in June last year.
Okay, cool.
Nearly a year now, which is kind of
Dude,
crazy.
that's crazy. Yeah, it's almost been a year.
It's going fast.
God, dude, sorry, this beer making me burp.
Nah,
I
we're
really
good,
gotta say my chelada, dude. It's actually a mango chili one. I really like the regular ones with the red stuff, whatever, the tomato, dude.
Oh, yeah. They're like the micheladas?
Yeah, the micheladas, dude.
Yeah.
When I lived in Phoenix, dude, all the Mexican cats would be drinking that, dude.
I love the micheladas.
Dude. They're
you can get them out of a can?
Yeah, you can get them with Modelo, something like this, dude. And I think Bud Light might sell them something like that. But
yeah, nice.
I do enjoy them like that. Well, that's cool, man. I didn't realize that. So your wife from Australia?
Yeah, she's from like a country town.
Okay.
Little country
What
town
does
in
that?
Australia.
What does that mean?
It means she's from a town with like a population of like 3,000 people.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And what does it entail? Like, is she? Because I saw this one time. I saw this documentary, and it was about this place called Laurima, and they were these people. There was like a murder in this little town, like 20 people in the middle of nowhere.
Oh yeah.
Was-
I've listened to that.
It was nuts.
That's like it's like 20 people in that town.
Yeah, it was like nothing. They were like, "Oh, meat pies are the best pies." Yeah, like all that. Yeah, they were like crazy about their meat pies.
What do you think happened in that? Did they never really found out?
They
who
never really
murdered?
No, but I think
It was a guy. It was a guy, wasn't it?
It was
He
a
kind of-
lady's like husband or some shit. He
like went into the bush and never came back.
the bush. Yeah, he
And did
did.
they find his dog? He was his dog.
Yeah, it was a dog. Yeah,
But they didn't find the dog in the end, did they?
No, but it was the lady's husband. She had gone he had gone and like had killed the dude, but I can't remember exactly what happened, dude. But I like the way
I
you said
can't
the bush,
either.
dude. The bush.
Well, that's what we call it. Yeah.
That's so awesome. The bush, dude. The bush.
So would you hunt anything else other than squirrels?
Ducks. I've killed a lot of ducks
I like
in my
duck.
day. Yeah, ducks good to
Does
eat.
wild duck taste as good as like farm duck? Is it a bit more gamey?
Personally, I don't think so. I'd rather have a farm duck.
Yeah.
But like some people would be like, that's crazy. You gotta, but like wood ducks taste pretty good. They eat acorns and stuff. You gotta find when you're hunting, you want to eat animals that eat good stuff. Eat herbivores and things that eat nuts and stuff. You want to be like. Some people eat raccoons, like I've hunted raccoons in my day too. I've hunted some raccoons at night. That is a weird thing to do, dude. It is a crazy thing just because the culture around it is insane.
There's some raccoons in Central Park.
Oh, dude, my
they're
dog.
Like filthy looking things.
They're nasty.
Do you eat
bastards.
those things?
I don't personally, but
Have you tried it?
No.
Okay.
I have not, but I can tell you that it's popular. I mean, dude, I don't know. She had cut this if you have to. It's very popular in the black community, dude.
Okay.
If you go to a gospel church on a Sunday in the South, dude, you will find raccoon sausage, no problem, dude. And
right.
it's like it's. I don't know why, but like.
Well, I guess back in the day, they probably when they were slaves and stuff, they probably just got used to eating whatever they could find, right? Because they would have been given shit rations by people. So I get that.
It comes from really, I think, more of like a civil rights era thing, where you would a white guy would have a hunting property, and he would say, he wouldn't let African Americans or people of color, hunt on his property during the daytime, but they could pay him to hunt there at night. Because he didn't want them being seen there during the day.
Gotcha.
So then, they got into night hunting.
So they get the nocturnal animals.
Exactly.
There you go.
So there's a lot of raccoon hunting in that community. That's a big part of it. So you see that even when you're out and about, dude. I mean, what's his name, dude? Speedy, I think. Speedy had some real fine blue tick coonhounds, dude. And he's a black guy that I knew. I mean, he had some fine dogs. Dude, So they, raccoon hunting is weird because. There's that, but then there's also the other side of it is just hillbillies. And that a hillbilly is very different from a redneck.
Okay.
So redneck is just like it's not a nice term necessarily, but it's like somebody who's more like a true Southerner from the South, where it's like hot, flat, and dumb.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A hillbilly is from where it's hilly and mountainous and dumb. It's still dumb, just different terrain.
Yeah.
That's all it is. You know, and a hillbilly more comes out like a redneck will wear no shirt. A hillbilly will wear overalls with no shirt underneath. You know what I'm saying?
So it's an actual thing.
Oh yeah,
it's not even just a movie.
No. That it'll piss it pisses people off in Louisiana when they're like, you fucking hillbillies. They're like, dude, nobody here's a hillbilly. Okay,
Yeah.
we don't have mountains. Okay? Go up to Arkansas for that bullshit. Dude. Okay, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So but I used to hunt. The guy that we got our dogs from was this crazy hillbilly dude up in Arkansas. His name was Quigley. That's not even his government name, dude. I think his government name is Matt Romine, but fucking he'd go by Quigley. And he was out of his mind, dude. He was completely nuts, like from day one.
Is it just isolation or is it just born that way?
His probably some of both. His father raised coonhounds for a living, which that grows.
Explain to me what a coonhound is.
It's a big. You ever seen like a beagle?
Yeah, I've seen a beagle.
So it'd be like a big beagle,
Yeah.
like a larger sized one. They're like about the size of a golden retriever, I'd say.
Gotcha.
It's a hound dog.
Yeah.
You think like a long floppy eared hound dog, kind of like a bloodhound, something like that,
Okay.
but not quite a bloodhound.
Right.
You're not. They're a little more athletic looking. So. But his father raised Treen Walker coonhounds, which grosses like $1,700 a year, dude. It's they grew up dirt poor.
Bro.
So, but that's like all he knows, So he raised squirrel dogs for a living, dude. And before that, even like his brains were so messed up. I remember he was he was an alcoholic, and then he quit drinking, and then he was doing professional cage fighting, dude. He was professionally cage fighting, dude, and all he did was professionally fucking lose, dude. He got knocked out like 9 times in a row. It was crazy. And then he rode bucking broncos after that.
Damn.
You know what that is?
Yeah.
Yeah, he rode those horses.
Yeah.
So his brain was fucked. Then he was raising squirrel dogs, and he got bit by a tick, dude, a spotted Rocky Mountain tick. Right? You got this thing called spotted Rocky Mountain tick fever. Okay, gets up in your blood, and it makes your like legs swell up real bad, dude. And it gets in your brain. It'll make you go crazy if you don't treat it fast enough. And since he made $1,700 a year, fucking gross, raising squirrel dogs, he didn't have no health insurance. So his leg just swelled up real big until finally somebody got him in the hospital. They got his leg down, but his brain is fucked, dude. He says the craziest, wildest stuff all the time, dude. And he's fucking, I remember like, I'd be up there with him, dude. One time I brought a watermelon I bought it at a grocery store called Albertsons. I said, hey, Quigley, I brought you this watermelon from Albertsons in Louisiana. And he said, who was Albert? I don't know him. And you're like, oh, shit, dude, this is going to be wild. He ate, like, probably 3/4 of it, dude, and shit the entire time that we were in this truck, like, from fucking 9 p.m. until 4 a.m. He just kept jumping out and going, good God, Nady, I got to go. This thing is hitting me square in the gut. You tell your friend Albert his watermelons are rotten. It's like, good God, dude, But, yeah, he was a nut, man. He was crazy. And we'd go coon hunt with him at night and stuff, and he'd be drinking. So he'd been, like I said, he'd been an alcoholic and, like, done a lot of blow and stuff. So he'd be hunting, and he'd be drinking a plastic bottle full of Mountain Dew and he'd crack a Monster energy drink and drink half the Mountain Dew, pour that into the Mountain Dew, then crack a Red Bull, drink half the Red Bull, and pour that into that same bottle, making this caffeine concoction, dude, and then would slam that all night long, dude.
Damn.
Chiefing cigarettes like you wouldn't believe, dude.
I bet he's got no teeth.
He's got a couple. I don't know. He's definitely got a few. He spends a lot of his time trying to turn lesbians, under the guise of the Lord. He's always in love with some woman who loves women, and he's like, trying to convince her that Jesus is the right way to go, and he's the way to it. So, yeah, it hadn't worked out yet, but I'm more to him. Godspeed. So, I don't know, dude.
Oh shit! So, are your parents still living south?
Yeah, my parents actually just left Louisiana last year. They live in Willis, Virginia now. They live in a small farm. My brother was in California. He went to UCLA. He make a bunch of money. He's real smart and shit, my little brother. And during COVID, he decided he wanted to get out of LA because they made his job fully remote. So he decided he was going to buy a farm in Virginia, in Southwest Virginia, and he was going to grow black truffles out there. Oh. Yeah, so my parents thought it was a great idea, and we're like, you want to go halves on it? And he was like, sure. So they live out there.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, they take care of the truffle farm. My mom's retired. My dad still works, but he also takes care of the farm. And then my brother lives about an hour from them, and he does a lot of work on the farm too. Cool. Yeah, it's been a big transit. We were not like I did most of the most outdoor stuff. I was like hunting, and we would ski, but like we weren't big. Like my brother, dude, his hands were soft, dude. Soft hands, porcelain hands, dude. Now he's digging in the earth all the time, you know what I mean? Like planting trees and looking for truffles and shit, or where the fuck he's doing up there. And so it's been a big change.
There's some money in truffles.
Yeah.
You know what I learned as well? Like from time to picking them to when you eat them is very short. Yeah. They have a very short shelf life.
Yep. You got to grab them out there. Like literally, it's a thing where we get a call and the company that distributes them will be like, hey, we got a restaurant that needs this many truffles. You go out there, you go get the truffles, and then
you just pick them.
Pick them and then give it. Somebody shows up and bring them there within 24 hours.
How does he grow them?
So we got these trees, these inoculated oak trees, white oak trees. They're inoculated with the truffle spores. It's like growing mushrooms.
Right.
So they're inoculated with the truffle spores. We plant the trees out there, and they need like a very temperate kind of, mountainous, hilly climate, so they're up in the Appalachian Mountains and the Blue Ridge Mountains, and you plant them in there, and you just kind of let them grow, man, and then they grow in the roots. Right. In the roots of the tree. You get out there with a dog smells them, finds them, you go dig them up, and that's it.
Right. There you go.
Yeah, dude, it's an interesting gig. And it is crazy. Like, a truffle like this, dude, is like, couple $1,000 truffle, you know what I mean? Yeah, yeah, dude.
So there's money in it.
Yeah, there's money in it. Yeah, there's money in it. Yeah, my brother, he wouldn't do anything if there wasn't money in it. Smart little fucker, dude. And he gay too, and don't forget it.
Seems like you got a lot of gay people in your life.
Dude, I have so many gay people. It's nuts, dude. For a regular straight white guy, dude, I know a ton of gay people. Okay, like I said, don't tell me shit, dude. I know like fucking 20 gay people. So even dude, one time I was doing there was a mic at the Comedy Studio in Cambridge, Massachusetts, and they do this thing where like. It's like 50 people show up to this mic because it's like, it's a big comedy club. And every fourth spot is supposed to be for somebody who's like LGBTQ, And I ain't fucking know that, dude. And I'm like 46th on the list. I put my name down, I go do my set. And half my shit is about my gay brother, dude. And they're like fucking, they're laughing. The dude, Booker, he gets on the mic and he's like, Nate, come back anytime, but every fourth spot is reserved for someone who's LGBTQ. And I was like, well, dude, I mean, I know like 1,000 of them. And he was like, and where you're from, that probably means a big deal. That's probably big news. But like let's next time, let's. I was like, all right, dude. But now they put me on all these gay shows and stuff because they love it, dude.
Because you know how to make jokes about them.
Yeah,
well, I guess you have a rightful place if you've grown up with a gay brother. It gives you a little bit more of a.
Yeah, I got perspective. Even though,
you got perspective.
I swear to dude, I didn't know he was gay until he came out the closet, dude. I'm so stupid. I don't have any idea. I got no idea, dude. I was just like, I think he's just bad with girls, It's just like, it's crazy. We'd like take him around, me and all my buddies and shit, and like, he just had no interest at all, dude. And one day he was like, I'm gay, and I was like, you are? And I started crying, and he didn't. And it was like, I can tell you exactly what he said, And just
you're like, oh no.
No, yeah, more like, dude, I was like that, and he was more like, what's a radio edit, like fucking, like suck it up, fruit cup, you know what I'm saying? I was like, oh shit, dude, my bad. Yeah, damn, I guess we still saying that. Fuck.
Yeah, I know a few guys at home. They're all nice. It doesn't matter. They're all nice people.
Yeah,
Here in New York, there's plenty.
Oh
my god.
Yeah, dude, they're
New York
everywhere.
City is the place.
Between here and DC, dude, Washington DC, there's not even like gay part of town, dude. Whole town gay. Everybody gay, dude. It's like, you're not gay in DC. You're not doing shit, dude. It's like, you're not getting no job. You're not doing nothing, dude. It's like nobody like you, dude. That's right. Yeah, dude. I was like, I got a cousin who's trans.
Oh damn.
Yeah, dude. There's a cousin who's trans who live out in.
So was it a boy? Or?
It was a boy.
Yeah.
Now it's a lady. It's very interesting. Which I mean,
full transition.
I don't think so. I think she still has a and I'm not like, I ain't got a problem. I just got to try real hard. I got to remember, dude. I got to be on my P's and Q's. You know what I'm saying? This is public, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But fucking, he or she, god damn it, dude. See, you know what I'm saying? God damn it. Fuck me, dude. God damn it. She still has a penis. All right? God. Fuck me, dude. Jesus Christ, I think she's got tits, though. I don't know. I'm not sure. But the drugs are being taken. I'm almost positive. A long hair and a lot of crying going on. I'll tell you that. Fuck me, dude.
What do you think about letting kids transition underage?
I don't know. I mean, underage, that young. I mean, dude, I did a lot of stupid stuff when I was a kid, dude. I thought a lot of stuff. Like, it's just, I don't know, dude. I mean, like, there's some, like, I've known people where it was like, shit, this motherfucker definitely, like, ain't, you know what I mean? Like, and like that one you can tell, and you're like, well, I mean, if she's still wearing fucking jean shorts when she's fucking, 12 and shit, and, like, playing basketball with the boys and all that, I mean, maybe, it might be, but, like, sometimes, I don't know, dude, sometimes it gets to be too, like, I think parents get too involved. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's really on the kid. You know what I mean? It's really like the kid and how they feel and all that stuff. So, I mean, my gut, I will say, my gut says, no, dude, that's crazy. Let a child, because to let a child decide anything is fucking sideways, dude. Okay? Yeah. Kids are dumb,
100%.
dude. I was dumb, dude. All I wanted to do when I was a kid was basically smoke weed, okay? Bad, Yeah. And I did it anyway, and look where I'm at now, dude, okay? Like, I'm a half-employed fucking comedian, okay? Yeah. Mostly doing open mics, okay? Okay. So it's like, let kids decide anything, I think, is silly, dude.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, they're kids, dude. They don't know dick about anything, dude.
Yeah.
Kids also, like, you see even college kids come up and they're like, nah, this is the government doesn't pen. You're like, dude, you don't know dick. You never even pay taxes, okay? You have no idea. You're still on your parents' fucking health insurance, okay? You do not know anything, okay? But also, too, I'm like the worst about politics because I don't know anything. And I'm not like purposefully like I'm turning a blind. No, dude, it doesn't interest me at all. So anytime people are like, dude, even when people are like, do you hear they shipped that barber to fucking Venezuela? I'm like, oh my God, was he not from there? Like I don't fucking know, dude. I'm like, what's the deal? What's happening? Is that what's going on? I don't know shit. And then people are like, no, he wasn't. And I'm like, that is bad. Oh my God. I don't know, dude. I don't watch the news. Only news I check is fucking who's fighting in the UFC next week. Dude. That's it. Dude. I don't care about anything else.
Yeah, I've turned off the news. I don't watch it anymore.
Like I said, my brother, my parents, they're always so worked up.
It toxifies your life.
Yeah.
I feel like you're spreading your energy out into places which you have no control over anyway. So what's the point in
dude, nobody cares
wasting any thought?
No, at all. No, nobody gives a fuck what you got to say either, dude.
Yeah.
Trust me. Go do comedy sometime and watch how many people don't fucking care about what you have to say. Okay, dude? Yeah. It does not, like if you just, and if you're not saying something funny, dude, especially with me, dude, that's the other thing. When they get up there and give them speeches, I'm like, yeah, it was all right, dude. Maybe like 3 laughs and the whole thing. What are we talking about here, dude? It sucked. I was like, I don't care how political he's supposed to be. That was gay, dude. That was awful. You know? You be talking about, the Iraq war, dude. I want to hear some laughs. You know what I'm saying? I want to hear some fucking ha-has, dude, okay? But yeah, so, I mean, I don't know. Like, it gets people down and shit, and then that's my thing. It's like, dude, nobody wants to hear my opinion. I'm stupid. I'm not, I'm not yet.
Well, you're clearly not. You've gone through law school. You've finished. You're a lawyer. You've passed the bar, I assume.
In the state of Louisiana, I have, which is actually a surprisingly hard bar because the law in Louisiana is like backwards and sideways.
What does that even entail in a nutshell? Do you have to learn a lot of the laws?
Yeah, dude, it's the worst thing I've ever done in my fucking
awful.
life. It is. You have to basically memorize like a bunch of shit that you have when you're a lawyer, dude. I remember even cops when I was like a prosecutor, I'd have like cops come in, they'd be like, yeah, we picked him up on a 1462, and I'd be like, what the fuck is that? And they'd be like, a simple burglary. But then say simple burglary, dude, okay? Why? Like, I don't fucking know the numbers if they're on this book right here, okay? I just open it up and I read it in court when they tell me to, okay? That's it. Dude. I don't know the numbers. Who knows the numbers? That's so gay. God, And all the police fucking know the numbers, dude. It's so gay, dude. It's the gayest thing on this planet, dude. Let me be the fucking...
Is that like a police flex? Like, oh yeah, so he had a 412.
Dude, I've seen the craziest... nothing is police, dude. A lot of them are good guys, dude. But like, I will say, murder police are some of the coolest guys that I've known.
Yeah.
So yeah, 2 of the coolest detectives I've ever known in my life, fucking Scooter Gale and Devin Touche. Murder police, coolest guys on this planet, dude, and like great cops, dude. Where you're like, and they're like doing real crime. You know what I mean? They're like actually getting real people who are doing bad stuff. So those were good guys. But dude, you're like. Dude, your drug police and your fucking property police, your beat cops, dude, the fucking worst. I've been in an office where they were like, because then also too, I went from being a criminal defense attorney to being a prosecutor because I want to learn the other side for a year. I mostly just let people out of jail, dude. It was crazy. I flooded the streets with criminals. But they fucking they'd come to my office and they'd think I was like one of them, so they'd be sit there and they'd have their body cam on, they'd tap on it and they'd be like, yeah, shit used to be way different before these bad boys, you used to be able to cuss somebody like a dog and put, you're like, God damn, dude, I'm like, Jesus,
Animals.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, y'all animals, dude, you're monsters. Dude.
I bet some shit went on before those cameras came out.
Dude, I've seen shit go on I've seen shit on the camera, dude, where I was like, dude, I've seen shit, God.
What's one of the worst things you've seen? Did you do murder cases?
Yeah, dude, I represented a lot of murderers in my day.
Really?
Dude. Yeah, most of them are pretty cool, actually. You'd be shocked, dude. A lot of them are actually really cool.
What gets these guys? Like, is most of it just out of rage? Or is it
depends.
premeditated?
I would say the ones that because there's two to me, there's a couple different kinds of your murderer to me, and this isn't like true. This is just
observation.
Me, but. So you had your murder for business, like your kind of like gangland killing, if you will,
Gotcha.
That didn't bother me at all. I was like, well, dude, this is your life. This is what you're doing. Y'all are both involved in this kind of, assumption of the risk kind of deal, So I'm a lot quicker to give you a deal than anybody else. Then there's like the domestic case, you kill a family member, something like that. That's usually rage. You going under the jailhouse, dude. That's you're a bad person. That's bad. That's bad. You can't be doing that. And then very rarely I've never worked like a serial killing case, you know what I mean? I've had people in that business gangland sort of aspect who were accused of killing multiple people. In that sense, they could be considered serial, Of course, they all walked. That's right. In a bind in the jam. Don't wait. Call Nate, baby. I got your back. That's right. All them free on the street today, dude. They're doing fine. All them gangland dudes. Actually, just the hardest one I ever had. He's so badass, dude. Had fucking fuck shit tattooed on his neck, man.
Oh,
and he walking the streets today, probably. I don't know. He might be in jail now, but yeah. So you wouldn't see that a lot, but we did have. I was the intern to the chief public defender in Baton Rouge for a while. He represented a serial killer named Derek Totley, who had killed a bunch of women in Baton Rouge in the 90s, early 2000s. And it was really interesting to talk to him about that because it was one of the only cases he ever lost because it was so bad. Dude got the death penalty and stuff. But, he was always it was crazy. They thought he was like this mastermind. And he was like, I asked him, how'd you do? And he said, well, I go up to the door. I jiggle the handle. If it's open, I went in and I killed him. And if it was closed, I went home. That was it, dude. There wasn't no mastermind, nothing, dude. That was the whole scheme, And he killed he killed a couple people like that. Maybe
it must be really hard for them to get away with that now because everyone's got cameras on their front door.
Yeah.
They've got.
That's actually I prosecuted a murder case, and that's how we and I didn't want him to go to jail at all, dude. Not go to, but I wanted him to not do life. I didn't think it was the worst thing, It was gangland style killing, crack deal kind of thing gone wrong. He shot, actually, the dude that he killed, he went to go sell him crack, and the guy was like, I want no crack today. I'll get the fuck out of here, or I'll do you how they did Pretty Ricky last week. And they'd killed this boy named Pretty Ricky right where, the murderer stood, and Pretty Ricky was his best friend, so he got real upset and pulled out a gun and shot this guy through his screen door, dude. And dude died. But, and to be honest, dude, I really liked his effort. He took a Greyhound bus from Lafayette, Louisiana to the border of Canada in Washington State and nearly made it across the border. And the police saw him walking down the street one day and he fucking freaked out and jumped in a bush. And they were like, what the fuck was that, dude? And they go talk to him. They find out he's a fugitive from Louisiana.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So,
and what would have happened if he had got to Canada?
He would have been a fugitive still. If he would have got picked up in Canada, they would have extradited him, and he would have fucking. Canada's not a place where that. It's not like they don't extradite people from Canada. It was kind of I think he was maybe he thought he was being real smart. Dude, I'm not going to Mexico if I'm gonna go to Canada. Even though dude, they're crazier than we are. They're fucking, they don't even let you in there if you got a Dewey, dude. You got a DUI, they won't let you in Canada. So I don't know how he was planning on even go walk across the Ambassador Bridge or some shit. Yeah. Go hang out there until he got arrested for shooting somebody else, no doubt, dude. That's a lot. Yeah, that was a lot big part of it too, But
God, I would not want to do that job.
It was
that sounds taxing.
To be honest, I didn't hate the work, and I didn't hate the guys. I didn't hate the work. I hated the police. And I don't hate all cops, but just I really hated how just into it they were. And I was like, dude, it's not. Come on, dude. We're just trying to figure this shit out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I really, really, really hate other lawyers, dude. I fucking hate working with other lawyers. I don't care who's listening to this. I don't care, dude. Lawyers suck, dude. We are the worst people on this planet. All you want to do is just talk about how smart you are, dude. Nobody cares. Yeah. Nobody gives a shit about that, dude. Last week I filed a motion for summary judgment on this. Nobody knows what that means, dude. Nobody fucking cares, So
is it more criminal lawyers because you've mostly worked with criminal lawyers? Yeah. Is it just the egos on these guys? Or
the criminal lawyers, I don't think have the worst egos. I think the civil lawyers have a way where all my buddies do civil shit. Right. Yeah, probably 90% of my buddies do civil shit. And the shit that they deal with on the regular is I'm like, dude, how do you put up with email, fucking snarky emails and stuff? I'm like, dude, what's up their ass, dude? You fucking care, what are you? Aren't y'all just trying to make a salary?
Keyboard warriors.
Yeah, a lot of keyboard warriors. Warriors and complaining to the judge and all that shit. Man. Fuck you, dude. You fucking gay. A lot of that, dude. A lot of that. You do a lot of that. I did a lot of that going, you fucking dude. Most of the judges liked me for whatever reason, dude. One time I was walking down the streets of Lafayette, Louisiana one day, and somebody looked at me and said, Nate, you could be a judge if you really wanted to. And I was like, me? Are you what, dude? I go home every day. I sit with my 2 dogs that mostly kill animals, and I smoke weed, dude. Okay, I don't need to be nobody judge. Okay, I don't need to do none of that. Dude.
Well, maybe you could be.
I could have been, not no more, dude. No way.
Why? So are you out now? Are you sort of phasing out of it? Or
yeah, I'm phasing out.
What are you thinking about moving into? Obviously,
I
know comedy, but for a living, do you want
to? For now, I'm still doing it's just a different type of law. So I went from practicing truly taking cases to court, going doing trials and stuff. Now I just do what's called intake. So work at an immigration firm. They're actually out in New York here. and like somebody calls and wants a lawyer, I just pick up the phone. They send it to me and go, hey, check if this person has an actual case. And I talk to them for a second. I go, all right, yeah, no, they got a case. Cool. We can charge them this much for it. That's it.
Wow.
It's a legit job, dude.
Wow.
It's a very sick
Pretty
job.
simple.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's all remote. It's awesome. Like 90% of my coworkers are in India. Sick.
Legit.
Dude. Yeah. In India, dude. It's like it's a firm. It's like half out of New York, half out of India. I don't really understand it at all, dude. But everybody's in like, I'm learning so much, dude. They're all in Calcutta and Kashmir and fucking all kinds.
And they're employed by the American businesses.
Yep. Yeah. They all.
They're obviously paid a stipend compared to what a US lawyer would be paid.
No
Do they
offense
study
to them,
US law?
I think some of them are maybe licensed in the United States, or some of them are licensed in India, maybe. But there's some that are licensed in the United States too, like licensed in New York and stuff.
Gotcha.
Because you got to be licensed to do certain kind of law, like federal law. You just have to be licensed in a state, right?
Okay.
So if I'm licensed in the state of Louisiana, I could pick up a federal. If you got arrested for a federal crime tomorrow, I could represent you in federal court. Because as long as somebody, I just need to find a lawyer here who could sponsor me to get into federal court.
Okay.
But that's how it works. If you got arrested in state court, like you murder somebody tomorrow, that's not federal, that's state. I can't do shit for you. You go to Louisiana and you kill somebody, I got your back, baby, all day. But you do it in New York, you don't have to find you somebody who can practice here. That's how it goes.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a tough job.
Yeah, dude, it sucked, honestly. I'm fucking so glad to not be doing that shit anymore, dude. It was like, and then after that, I did civil stuff for a year, and dude, it just, the law is the worst. There's a million other professions you can do, and I feel like so many people are like, oh, what am I going to do? Oh, dude, well, I'm good at arguing. I'll go to law school. Or some people are like, well, you should go to law school.
It must be a part of the prestige as well, like just being a lawyer,
I mostly did it because I was like, fuck, I don't really know what I'm going to do. I need 3 more years of school and having fun, dude. So I went and did it, and then I actually did really bad in school and law school, but I did remarkably well in these criminal courses. And then I started working in the public defender's office, and they were like, you have a job here, come do, and I was like, me, all right, cool, I'll do it, yeah. So I was just, I kind of just, I've stumbled into everything I've ever done,
cool.
Dude. Just walked right in, okay, I'll do it, sure. That's everything I've ever done, dude. Yeah. So that's what
how did you stumble into comedy?
Actually, comedy was the only thing I really actually wanted to do my whole life. When I was 18, I was was graduating college or graduating high school. I wanted to go do stand up. My parents were like, "You'll make a great lawyer." Yeah.
So you knew then?
Yeah. Dude, when I was a kid, dude, I was like, I went to school in Phoenix in high school that was like 4,000, 5,000 kids, and dude, I was a funny kid at school, and I was voted most likely to be on SNL, and
wow.
Yeah, dude. And in law school, I was voted most likely to be a defendant, dude. I know, go figure. Still time for both those things. You know what I'm saying? But
legit.
Yeah, I was voted most likely to be a defendant and most likely to be on SNL in high school. Yeah. And so yeah, dude, I knew I'd always loved, and I loved being funny and making jokes and shit. And when I played football in high school, and when I quit playing football, me and all my buddies quit at the same time. We're like, fuck this, we're not going to college to play. We all fucking quit like same day, like fucking 15 of us. And someone were like, dude, you should go do, there's an improv group at school, you should go do that. And I was like, I don't know, dude, it's kind of gay, like it's not really, And they're like, dude, if you go do it, we'll all come and we'll get people to come to the show and come watch. I was like, all right, fine. So I went to the tryout and I fucking knocked out of the fucking park. And then I went to we had like 4 improv shows for the year, dude. And it was one of those things where like, like when you are, like when you're funny like that, especially at school, dude, I just would step onto the stage and people would start laughing. And I loved it, dude. I just ate it up. I ate up every second of it. So I knew it was something I always wanted to do. I just, fucking this bullshit in life kind of gets in the way sometimes. And one day you look up and you're like, I'm not happy. I am not doing anything that makes me happy, and what's this, there's this other thing that I've always wanted to do. And what would it take? Like just as simple as me going up and talking on the microphone. I talk to fucking a bunch of lunatics every single day. I talk to people and I can do this and fucking that's. So I had actually just left Louisiana, was living at the farm in Virginia, just stopped practicing the law for the year. And there was an open mic at a brewery in Roanoke. And I was like, well, fuck it, I'll go check it out. And I went and I had a couple good pops and some people were like, how long have you been doing comedy for? And I was like, this is my first day. And they were like, dude, keep it up. And then, I went to DC for a couple mic. I won a riff mic, like competition, like my fourth mic I ever did. It was like all riffs out of a bucket. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it was like a competition. I didn't even know. I just showed up and I won, and I was like, oh fuck, all right, cool. So yeah, it just kind of clicked, and I love it. You know.
Cool.
So, yeah, that's how it goes, man. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. And how do you come up with your material? I know you write a lot about like your family, and you write a lot about experiences.
It's
and
just
stuff.
experiences mostly. Pretty much everything I got is experiences or I like absurdity too. You know, like I'll say stupid and shit. You know, like I got one that I do a lot in New England right now that like, you know, and it's not like an experience thing. It's just like, you know, I mean, I kind of go like semi-edgy, you know what I mean? I'm not trying to like, you know, I'm not, you know, like a Texas comic. I'm not trying to piss nobody off, you know, but if I think it's funny, I'm going to say it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know, there's shit like that, but it's mostly experience stuff. It's a lot of stuff about, you know, criminals and practicing the law and doing crime stuff, and then me also being bad and being a lawyer, you know, and then you know, like country people and shit people I've met, you know. And yeah, family stuff. My gay brother, that's a big part of my set, dude. That's a big part of my set, dude. I know I got like a 15-minute set right now and fucking 5 minutes on my gay brother, dude. You know?
Does he care?
No, I ain't give a fuck, dude. No, he's great about it. He's great about it. Usually I'll run jokes by him and be like, how's this? And if he gets a chuckle, I'll be like, all right, cool, that's a good one. So, there's a lot of shit like that, dude. So mostly experience stuff, and then just, you know, like I really liked, you know, obviously like I like your Theo Vaughns and your Matt McCuskey's, your Shane Gillis's, but dude, growing up, what I really, really loved, my favorite thing of all time was Borat, dude. Even like before the movie came out, my parents got me the box set of the Ollie G show when I was like 11. I don't think they knew what it was, dude. And I watched it and was like, this is the greatest thing.
I said, did he have a show before he did the movie?
So the Borat was part of it. It was this character from the Ollie G show.
Yes.
So the Ollie G show was a show on HBO.
I remember Ali G.
Yeah. So Ollie G.
I never really watched. I watched like clips and a few episodes, but I never really got into it.
So it was basically he would do Ollie G, Borat, and then Bruno too. So that's where the three of them came from. Yeah. So so when Borat the movie came out, I was like, holy fuck!
Isn't he incredible? Sacha Baron Cohen.
Amazing, dude. Amazing. I watch Borat one every 9 months, dude. I call it my rebirth, dude. I love it, dude. I love that movie so much. When he was sitting there in that fucking subway and that chicken jumped out of his fucking briefcase, dude, I was like, dude, and when, what does he say?
And that must be all like improvised, hey?
Yeah. Dude, when there's every part of it. But that's what's so amazing about it, dude, because he has such a great knowledge of the world. You know, like this, like Kazakh, this is like such an absurd, like obscure, you know, like post-Soviet Union country, you know, and he's sitting there and he's, you know, so there's
I saw something the other day when Borat came out, the Kazakhstan government tried to shut the movie down.
Oh yeah, dude, they were pissed, dude.
But then afterwards, the tourism went up like
100%
or something.
Like anybody wants to go to Almaty? No, dude, nobody want to go to fucking Almaty, dude.
No one had even heard of Kazakhstan.
No, dude, exactly, dude. My favorite story about Kazakhstan that I know is right after the Soviet Union fell. Okay, I saw this in documentary.
Yeah.
Right after Soviet Union falls. Okay. Kazakhstan is holding on to a bunch of fucking nukes and warheads and all this fucking like uranium and all these materials make bombs. And the CIA is like, all right, this is where they're holding it. So some fucking CIA agent goes to this fucking warehouse full of this shit with like two Kazakhs who the unions just fell. They don't know what the fuck's going on. They're just sitting out front in lawn chairs like, we think we're employed here, you know? And he walks up and he's like, I'll give you $2 million US for everything you got in there. And these two Kazakhs, their eyes light up and they're like, you will give us $2 million US? $2 million? That stuff was probably worth $8 billion, dude. Yeah. And they were just like, take it all, by all means. You know, dude, it's like my favorite story of like Eastern Europe. It like just defines Eastern Europe, dude. I was like, they're like, what? I can buy 4 donkeys to pull my station wagon. Yeah, you know,
isn't that crazy?
No offense, you know, but you know that's just what I know. You know what I'm saying? Just speaking to what I've seen. You know? God, dude.
Yeah, that whole period was insane. I've been to the Berlin. Have you been to Berlin? Have you seen the Berlin Wall?
No, so I've been to Munich one time.
Yeah, Munich's amazing.
I haven't been to Germany that much because my grandmother was like, don't be careful. You know, they will take directions and they will not question it. So that's what she always said. So, but I went to Munich once. It was fun. Yeah, it was a good time. I went to Springfest, not Oktoberfest, but the one they do in the spring.
Right.
So it was a good time.
Did you see the wave that goes through they've got the river that runs through the park in the middle of the city, and there's like a wave,
dude,
that people surf.
I am such a piece of shit, dude. When I travel, like I've also, since I've been abroad so much as a kid, like people be like, we want to go to the museum and walk around. And I'll be like, I will be in this bar stool right here. Okay. Wherever you go, you come back, I'll be right fucking here. Okay. So no, I ain't see shit in Munich, dude. I ain't see anything. I just drank a bunch with fucking these Germans. Dude, I blacked out and I came to, and this like beer maid was like talking German to me. And I was like, I'm sorry, like, ich kann nicht sprechen Deutsch. And she was like, yeah, but just 5 seconds ago, you were speaking perfect German with me. Your father is from Belgium and you are from Louisiana and we are having great conversation. What is happening? And I was like, dude, lady, I'm sorry. I fucking came too. I don't know. I'm sorry, you know?
Can you speak German?
I can speak, so I speak French fluently, and then like in Belgium they speak Flemish, speak Dutch, you know.
In Belgium they speak French?
They speak French and Flemish.
Okay,
so
gotcha.
French and Dutch basically. So where my father's from in Belgium, it's the Dutch part.
In Louisiana they speak French there too, don't they?
They say that, but they don't.
Okay.
Nobody really does. You know, maybe like 100 years ago, yeah, but not anymore. It used to piss me off. I'd be in court and some old guy would walk up and go, "Oh, parlez-vous français out here?" And I'd be like, "Yes, dude," and I'm not talking to you. Okay? No, I'm not talking to you. You're stupid. I speak a Vermilion Paris dialect. That's not a thing. That's nothing. It's nothing. But yeah, so I speak French fluently because my grandparents didn't speak English, you know. So I speak French with them, but we're from the Dutch part of Belgium, so everything in town is in Dutch, you know. So I don't speak Dutch, but I'm familiar with it, you know, and I can speak. You know, ik kan spreken een beetje Vlaams, maar het is niet zo goed. Yeah, so like I can like bumble around with and stuff. So German's real similar to that. So like, you know, it's like, you know, ik ben, ich Bena or whatever the fuck it is. So like, you know, dude, I'm also like I'm like an idiot savant with languages, dude. I don't know what it, like when I studied abroad in Italy, I was there for 4 months, and on my second day, the teacher pulled me aside for the Italian class and was like, "Are you sure you've never taken Italian before?" And I looked at her and said in full Italian, I said, Laura. Okay, my father's from Belgium. I told you I speak French, and this is just fucking like French and Spanish. Fuck, and I'm a beautiful kid, okay? But no, I've never taken Italian before. I do have to tell you, though, I'm not going up any harder classes. I'm having a good time here, but you got to teach me past and future because you're holding me up in town. Okay? you got to. Okay, you're holding me up, okay? And, dude, we'd have these big Italian exams. We'd have 2 hours for the exam. Everybody take the whole time, all this shit, dude. I would stumble into the exam piss drunk, would take it in 10 minutes, dude, get 100% on the Italian exam. I don't know, you know. Yeah, I don't know what it is about languages, dude. They just, especially those romantic languages, you know, they just pick them up fast, you know.
It must help having the French.
Yeah, definitely helps. You know, even like Spanish. When I was here, I worked in a restaurant for a month, dude. I was the only English speaking busboy in Midtown for like a month down here, dude.
Really?
Yeah, it was dope. But I'd be in the back. I was, necesito platos, por favor, Javier. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, dude, I can do it. You know, yeah, I can do it, dude. You know what I'm saying? I'll be all right, dude. I mean, dude, you said, dude, you could drop me anywhere in the world. You can stick me in the fucking desert of Afghanistan, dude, and give me about 2 weeks. I'll be all right. You know, I'll figure it out.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I'll be all right.
That's a good skill.
Thank you. And I'll find weed, too. Yeah, and I'll find good weed, too.
You're one of those hound dogs.
Right,
smell that shit out.
like a blue tick, dude. That's right. I'll cold, dude. I've done that in New Orleans one time. You raised my nose in the air and cold trailed it right down to a kid's backpack, dude, like 3 blocks away, dude. Yep. He gave me a little weed. That's right. I said, wow, you're good. I said, thank you. I'm a hunter. Yeah.
Dude. So what's up now? You're gonna head back to
Boston?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was gonna see my buddy some, but I think he's working tonight, so I was gonna hang around. But honestly, dude, I got to get back and go do some shit. I got a show on Monday.
Well, thanks for coming in. I do appreciate it. I didn't realize it was such a trek.
I don't give a fuck, dude. It don't matter to me. A lot of people like, you know, everybody think it's like a long. Dude, I've driven 12 hours before for bullshit. It don't matter, you know. So,
wow.
Yeah, say nothing, dude. It's good to see you too, man.
Yeah,
Appreciate
man.
you having me on,
yeah,
dude. Thank you. Yeah,
it's unreal. So, do you want to give everyone your socials?
Yeah, it's at Nate Hanet for Instagram, at NateHanet. You can find all my show dates and you know, any shows that I'll be on there. I'm on TikTok too. I think it's the same one. I don't really use it, but Instagram's a big one for me. So yeah, go check me out. Follow me on there. And if you're in the New England area, come check out our show. Mate,
pleasure to have you on. Next time when you're back in New York, give me a shout.
I will, brother.
Yeah,
I will.
really definitely. Good to have you on. really good guest.
Thank you, dude. Thank you. I do my best.
I think you're the first like real Southerner I've had on it. I love the twang. I love what you like. I love the way you speak and your experiences. It's really cool, man.
I feel the same way about you. I love the way you speak, dude. I love that, dude. I love that. Yeah, I know. He said the boosh show. I was like, yeah, dude, the boosh show. Fuck yeah, dog. Yeah. Oh, yeah,
well, man, thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Man, it's been a pleasure, dog. Thank you so much.
See you in the next one, guys.